Work. Let's try it again.
Viewer discretion is expressed for the following program. If you are easily triggered or offended, please exercise caution while viewing this program, because the hosts really don't care. Warning, this show is not for children, and not for coworkers either.
Good morning, everybody. Here you go. This will work for the. I don't know where all my buttons went. Oh my God! All right. Well, before this week, I didn't even know. Ladies, shut up. Before this week, I didn't even know there was a Frank Biden. I knew about James. I knew about Joe, Hunter, Bo. What's her name? Ashley. Knew about her. Didn't know about Frank. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm sure we got a lot of news to talk about. Sorry, we didn't have an episode yesterday. I was sick.
Are you feeling better today, sir?
I'm feeling so good. Yesterday, I was like, I think this is what it's like right before you die. And then today, I'm like, I'm not dead. I'm so happy.
I think it's hilarious that when grown men get sick, get the sniffles, we all think that we're going to die. And then the next day we're like, oh, I'm completely better. It's a miraculous recovery.
I'm not sure, but I think you're on the wrong mic. Yep. Guys, for those of you who are here for the first time, check out our Discord channel. It's right there. We meet Monday through Friday, unless I'm sick, at 8 o'clock, and we talk about news, culture, politics, pop culture. Yeah, you totally on the wrong mic, dude. You're on your camera mic. And yeah, so we're gonna talk about stuff. We'll probably talk about Palestine, Ukraine, or Palestine, Israel for a minute. Well, because you can't not talk about it, right? We're gonna talk about Joe. We're gonna talk about Joe's brother. We're gonna talk about I don't know, some other stuff. We got some good stuff. We got Mary Lou. We got to mention her. And oh yeah, we have a massive crippling debt. Massive and crippling. Oh yeah, you're good now. You're on the right channel now. All right. Before we do anything else, please, Deke, learn us some music, please.
You didn't get to hear our song yesterday, so we get we get bonus songs today. I keep hearing something. I've got my show today, so I've got several people coming in, so I'll be looking back several times.
Okay.
So we didn't get the songs, so you get bonus songs today. We're going to double up on them this month in October. We're getting spooky on Deke's playlist. It's over on our Discord server. I've been a DJ for 30 years. I know a little bit about music, and I bet I know some songs that you've never heard of before that you probably might need to know. And I like to educate people on songs. So come over to the Discord server. I bet I got a song in here today that you probably never knew existed. Maybe all 4 of them today that you've never knew existed. So I'm going to give you your 2 songs from yesterday and today, our scary songs this week or this month. The first one is a classic country song called Phantom 309 by a truck driving singer named Red Sovine from back in the late 60s, early 70s. And Phantom 309, do you remember on Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he meets Large Marge and then she's a ghost and he goes into the diner and says, Large Marge sent me? That scene was based on this song. This song is basically that scene in the movie. It's a really cool little spooky country song. I Put a Spell on You by Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Most people have probably heard the CCR version, the Creedence Clearwater Revival version. But Screamin' Jay Hawkins was a blues musician from back in the 40s and the 50s. And this version of this song, this has to be a perfect piece of music. This piece of music needs to go, in my opinion, in the Smithsonian Institute, because his voice, the old microphone, the sound of the instruments just the ambiance of the engineering and recording just makes this song a perfect freaking piece of American music history. I love this song. I've put a spell on you. And I've heard this version before. I like this one better than the CCR. So there's your two songs today. You also get this month Sinister Minister's werewolf bonus songs about werewolves in the moon. Yesterday's song was Sam Sham and the Pharaohs, Little Red Riding Hood. Hey there, little red.
Yeah, I love that song.
Hood. And then today is probably a song that you've never heard by the Cactis, and they were a doo-wop group from the 50s that never really got famous. So they had a song called Mr. Werewolf. They also had a song called Donald Duck. If you've heard anything, you've probably heard the Donald Duck song by the Cactis. So check those out. That's your songs of the day. It's over on our Discord server. Above the invisible person JJ is talking to, you will see the Discord server little QR code. Click that, and you will go over to our Discord server and see our Deeks playlist. I love you, JJ. I love you. You want some coffee? You don't want coffee? Oh. You weren't talking to your wife. You were talking to your kids. I could tell by the very end. You're like, go now. You're muted. You muted yourself.
Yeah, I did leave because I knew it was gonna get down to like, no, leave. Go downstairs. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, whoops.
Ooh. Oh. So did you finish Ahsoka?
Guess what I finished last night?
All right. You got to tell me when you're ready to talk about that show. Okay.
I thought it was great.
Great?
As someone who has watched every piece of Ahsoka's backstory, I thought it was a great ending. I thought it was great.
Okay. 10 out of 10, you're saying?
9
you have no
out of
criticisms.
9 out of 10.
You got one
I'm
criticism.
not going to give it a perfect 10. I'll say 9 out of 10. I thought it was wonderful.
Right. Well, I'm not. We should have an Ahsoka meeting and talk about it because you know because I want to say there's some. Let me say this about the show. I was looking forward to each show. I was like, I think this is good, as opposed to some of the other ones where I was like, don't care, forgot entirely. Mm-hmm. So at least this one, I was like, yeah, this is good. I was looking forward to it. Right. There's a lot of good things. So, I mean,
still encourage you to watch the whole story all the way through and not just watch the Ahsoka show. You're only watching 1/3 of the story.
Right.
You watch that show.
But it's its own show. It really should be able to stand on its own.
That's where they messed up. They were just trying to. That's where they messed up. They should have called it Rebel Season.
So they were trying to save some bucks, is what they were doing, and they trusted.
I gotta talk.
And they trusted that everybody in the world was watching all the Star Wars stuff. Nope, that is not true. Everybody in the world was not watching all the Star Wars stuff. Okay. Maybe we'll get into Star Wars in a little bit. A couple of days ago, the news broke that Joe Biden's younger brother admitted that his naked selfies were on a gay dating website, and those naked selfies were authentic.
Gross.
Joe's brother Frank admits that his naked selfies were on a gay dating website. Quote, "They must have hacked my phone." Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Happens. They hacked your phone.
It was crash override and zero.
Yeah.
Cool.
They must have hacked my phone, stole my photos, and set up a gay dating website. I'm sure that's what they had to have. Look, the odds of that are not zero because I'm confident that the Biden family's cybersecurity policy does not exist. It includes taking your computer and just giving it to a guy and forgetting you even own it.
You don't think they have rules? I mean, Hillary had rules.
I just can't believe that. This is Joe Biden's brother. That means that this guy's nephew is Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden, who for the last 2 years we have seen naked doing coke and blow and prostitutes all over every news website forever, in all of his emails ever. Nobody ever called Frank and were like, "Yo, Frank, change your password." Not once. Nobody. Here's the story from the post millennial. Joe Biden's younger brother Frank. Okay. I quote: "I really don't want to start my day off this way. Definitely didn't post it anywhere." Okay. So you look at this photo. The first thing I got to say is Frank is jacked. Look at Frank.
Frank is, man. He's been lifting.
Frank is jacked.
Yeah.
Younger,
brother.
yeah.
Maybe pull up your pants a little bit, but other than that,
got no pants on.
Oh,
no pants there.
Maybe put some pants on, Frank. Hell, get a robe or something, dude. Seriously.
Guys with iPhones, which is owned by gay porn blog queerclick.com, says it is powered by love for hot men.
Information here, JJ.
Yeah, no, powered by love for hot men who appreciate the finer gadgets in life.
Okay.
And
okay. Wow, you learn something new on the internet every day, don't you, JJ? Wow, I would have never.
Hold on. No, there's important information here.
Okay,
upon being asked by the outlet whether or not he was a man depicted in the photo, the 69-year-old Frank, that's it. That man is 69 years old. He is jacked.
He is jacked for
69-year-old Frank admitted it was him, but insisted he had not put it up for the world to see. Quote, "I have absolutely no comment. I could care less. I haven't looked at it," Frank said Monday morning. "They must have hacked my phone. I really don't want to start my day off this way." Definitely didn't post it anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, Deke, we got to put odds on this.
Zero cool to you. Thank you.
Sorry, zero cool. We got to put odds on this. What are the odds that his phone was hacked versus Frank did that? What do you think? You think zero odds his phone were hacked?
I think there is a chance. There is. His phone could have been hacked. That is a logical conclusion to this. That's how I operate. Okay. This is how I've always operated. If it sounds logical to me, I do not completely rule it out, no matter how farcical it may sound to somebody else. If it sounds logical to me, I don't rule it out of my sphere of thought. Okay. Yes, that is logical. Do I think that is what happened?
Listen, folks,
Nope.
The "I was hacked" defense, it doesn't fly.
No,
and if it does fly, you are dumber than if you actually did it yourself. You should not be getting hacked.
Yeah.
But I just don't believe the "I was hacked" defense doesn't fly.
No,
it shouldn't.
Don't fly with me.
Yeah, man, you are going to be really grateful I didn't pull this other Breitbart story up with
I am. You just keep that to yourself, friend.
Bigger photo of Frank. All right. Let's see. The other big news is probably bigger news, but you know, we were talking about this before the show and I'm like, I can't make a title out of this because it's not very, super fun, but also like, I think that this is going to make a splash. It's going to make an impact, but it's not going to make an impact that changes everything.
Okay.
That's my gut impression. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announces his independent run for president. So RFK Jr. was running as a Democrat, trying to compete with Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination, but the Democrats don't even want to do primary votes, much less debates. So the establishment machine of the Democrats are just trying to run this thing. Many of them don't even want Biden to be the nominee, but he's the sitting president, and you gotta roll with what you got. So RFK Jr. was attempting to dislodge Biden from the Democratic nominee. The establishment was not really letting that happen, so he has dropped out of the Democratic Party and is running as an independent. What is your first impression here, sir?
My first impression is that this is going to hurt Biden and help Trump. Because he's going to take some of those Democratic people with him. And he's going to take the theory that I heard from the guy, and he explained it a lot better than I can, more eloquent than I can. But it was basically He theorized that the undecided voters that would go with Robert F. Kennedy, when Robert F. Kennedy, all he would have to do is drop out, and those undecided voters would go to Trump. More than likely was his theory. And I don't know, like, whether you buy it or not or whatnot, it's maybe that's okay. That's a good theory, but Robert F. Kennedy has said a lot of stuff here lately that has really resonated with the common man, with the person that is that's like me, really, that's struggling, that works hard every day and goes and tries to be a good parent, and barely has a pot to piss in. It's not like we're not working. We work every single minute of the day.
Right.
And so he's resonating with the common man, and I think that's really going to do some damage to the Democratic side. Mainly, I really think that this was a worst case scenario situation for the Democrats, that they are scrambling right now trying to figure out what the crap to do, because they know Biden's not going to win. He can't there's only one way that he can win, and we've gotten kicked off YouTube a couple of times for me saying that.
So, all right. So there were some possible scenarios that don't exist anymore. One of those being that Biden drops out of the race and another Democrat takes up the reins, right? Another
Michelle
Democrat
Obama.
runs instead. She has not announced yet, but
I
she
know,
is
but-
doing
but
speeches
you-
for money,
you-
and that's a signal that she's going to
Using
do.
your logical brain here, if you were the Democrats, you got to be the devil's advocate every once in a while and think, well, what the hell is my enemy going to do? All right, you've got to
Yeah.
do that. That's Sun Tzu, The Art of War. So if you were the Democrats, what would you do? Who would be the number one person to, oh my God, we got to have somebody that's going to be Trump level. And now we got Robert F. Kennedy doing this, and he's making some good points. Who would you put up there besides Biden? Not Kamala. Not
Right.
what's his name?
And Kamala is absolutely dead last. There's no way that the establishment is going to say, Biden drop out, Kamala got this. That's never going to happen.
Obama can't, Barack can't run again,
Right.
So
Yeah.
what if you put like Michelle and Oprah? Just throwing that crap out there.
Go ahead. You guys do that. Yeah, you do that. I think you should. I think that would be pretty interesting. Okay, RFK was actually running, so it was possible up until this week that Biden could drop out and RFK could take up the Democratic nomination. If that was the case, he would have a lot of draw among not only Democrats, because they vote en bloc no matter what, they vote Democrat, but he would have a lot of draw from independents, especially the never Trumpers that are just find Trump to be distasteful. So he would have a lot of draw. But he is now dropped out of the Democratic race, running independent, which means even if Biden drops out, there's no way that the Democrats are going to be like, come back, RFK, you're our only hope. That's not going to happen. So RFK is now in the third party position, and the third party position is a wedge position that is going to push. It's going to push the election almost as long as he stays in. No matter what, we're going to have a president elected that will not even get a majority of the votes. Well, it won't happen. Back when George Bush in like 92, I think it was Bush and Clinton and Ross Perot. Ross Perot took like 18% of the vote.
Yep.
Neither Bush nor Clinton achieved a majority. And Clinton, if you think he ever won a majority, you're mistaken. Bill Clinton never won a majority of the votes.
Right.
He got elected with 43% of the votes.
You're right.
So no matter what, we're going to have a president elected that has a plurality, but not a majority of the votes. So that's interesting. Also, it really kind of leaves like those that stay with Biden to be the less moderate. They're going to be more extreme. That's pretty dangerous too. We'll have to see what happens. I don't know. RFK announced Monday that he's running as an independent and dropping out of the race. Kennedy could become a spoiler for Biden 2024 election by shifting votes away from the sitting president. His announcement was made during a campaign event in Philadelphia. Colonel Cornel West is also running as an independent candidate. So while RFK Jr. is sort of a moderate classical liberal, Cornel West is a leftist, but he's also anti-establishment. So he's not gonna have the draw that this guy has. Unfortunately, because of the weekend and the week we're having, his RFK's independent coming out party basically totally overshadowed by global politics and news and Israel, Palestine, all of that. So, that's kind of big news. The RFK thing. Unfortunately, I think nobody heard him, or not enough people heard him. Everybody, at least where I'm looking on Twitter and wherever, it's just constantly Israel, Palestine, Hamas, all of that. Yeah. Dave says no one wins the majority
got one
ever.
That
Go ahead.
I've got one this morning that I ran across that I really haven't had a chance to look at, so I thought we could read this and discuss this morning. But this comes from Reuters. U.S. Congressman Santos faces more campaign finance charges. George Santos was hit with more criminal charges yesterday, with prosecutors accusing him of inflating his campaign's fundraising numbers and changing campaign contributors' credit cards charging their credit cards without their consent. 23 count superseding indictment was filed yesterday. The false reports made it appear as if Santos' campaign had at least $250,000 from outside donors in a single quarter, the threshold to qualify for financial and logistical support from the Republican Party. Santos also told the FEC that he made a $500,000 loan to his campaign when he had just $8,000 in his bank account at the time.
How do you do that? That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Santos, 35, pleaded not guilty in May to 13-count indictment charging him with defrauding prospective political supporters by laundering funds to pay for his personal expenses, illegally receiving unemployment benefits while he was employed, and lying to the House of Representatives about his assets. If I did any of that, they would throw my broke ass under the jail.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Republicans.
Any of that,
and I am
I'm
increasingly willing to just totally disavow Republicans, and I might even change my political affiliation. I don't know, but Republicans will see some stuff like that, and they'll be like, "Nah, we don't like that guy either." You know that Democrats don't like Santos.
Every one of them's doing that. George is just a moron.
Yeah, he's just stupid. He had a stupid criminal.
He's just stupid. And I hate to say it that way, but he's just stupid.
Yeah.
He got caught. Every one of them do it. The reason you don't hear about it is because they're smart and they don't get caught.
Yeah.
That's why you never talk about it. It's because they don't get caught. You don't think it's going on.
Okay, let's see. I think we talked about this last week. I don't know if we talked about it or not. I definitely told you about it because of an email that I got, but we might have mentioned it on the show, so I'll talk about this. Yeah. Texas Governor Abbott has called a special session to address school choice and border security. Here we go. There's not a whole lot of interesting photos here, but Texas Governor Greg Abbott called a third special legislative session to begin Monday to address school choice. Quote, I am bringing the Texas legislature back for special session number 3 to continue building on the achievements we accomplished during the 88th regular legislative session and 2 special sessions this summer. Together, we will chart a brighter future for all Texas children by empowering parents to choose the best education option for their child. So essentially, as far as school choice goes, the idea is that rather than fund the school, you fund the student, and wherever the student wants to go, that's where the money goes. That's more or less the idea. A lot of times this is school choice, or it's sometimes the language used as vouchers. I received an email. Well, I received an email from someone that I know very closely from the school district that my children attend. And the email said that Greg Abbott is going to have this special session. Call your congressman and tell them to vote no. Tell them that school choice is bad. This is from the school district it was from a political advocacy group via my school district. My school district's government resources were leveraged for political advocacy, which is, as far as I am aware, against the law and totally unethical. You know that if somebody was out there like, yeah, we want school choice, they would not get the same access to be able to use my school's email to send out political advocacy messaging. So that's pretty crazy that they're even doing that. And I talked to some other people that were in education. They're like, no, that ain't right. That is not right.
For parents that that keep their mouths shut and just go along with their kids and think that their kids in school, that's the era of that is over, man. That is over. All right. There's crap happening at our school that, you know, how I can go on my little rants. I've had to quell and be professional about this and take a professional approach to this to try to get some stuff done. I can't just go on a rant. So that's schools do stuff that you don't, and then they will lie to your face about it.
I even had an opinion from, there was an opinion about the ethical use of government resources that explicitly said that this kind of stuff was not correct. There's also the border security issue. The Biden administration has recently reversed themselves and said they're going to build 20 entire miles of border along the southern border of the U.S.-Mexico border. 20 entire miles. So I think that Texas is not waiting for the Biden administration to get busy, and they are putting up some fencing and some barriers themselves. This order of border security is something that we talk about a whole lot. Sometimes it's about just the fact that we can't have people just flowing into our country and being essentially ungoverned and criminal. That's one thing. It's the drugs. That's another thing. It's the generations that are going to come that don't have American values deeply embedded. But there's also a real consideration of terrorism. Up until this year, it's been like, oh yeah, sure, you guys caught some terrorists or whatever. So if you guys have been looking at
going on in the world right now, you really need to pay attention to the fact that all of these military-aged men, there's no women and children. We said that for months. On this show. And now you're like, oh, they're having Palestinian parties here in Michigan and having this here. And these people are
Times Square.
Fired and they're doing all this. And Dan Bongino said yesterday, he was like, if you live in a city, keep your head on a swivel. He was like, I'm not even joking on any of this. You need to keep your head. It can
go from everything's fine to real bad real fast. And over the next so this is what I've been reading in various places. And when I say various places, I do mean on Twitter, but some of the people that I follow on Twitter are open source intelligence. They are people that have been in intelligence and security and those kind of fields for many, many, many years. And some of them have been warning that in the next 14 months, the signals are in place that we've had among the millions of people that have come into the country over the last I think it's 7 million. 7 million people have entered the country in the last 3 years. Of those, there are likely to be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of saboteurs and sleeper cell agents not from Mexico, from Syria, Yemen, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Lebanon, Egypt, Pakistan. I can't even pronounce that one. Uzbekistan, Turkey. There are thousands upon thousands of people from various countries. Here's a post from Bill Meluen or whatever. I guess he's a journalist. Internal CBP, that's Border Patrol, data provided and confirmed by CBP sources reveals thousands of special interest aliens, mostly from Middle Eastern countries, have been apprehended by Border Patrol while crossing illegally into the U.S. over the last 2 years. These are the ones that are caught. This is the 10% or so that are caught. We don't know how many are uncaught. And on top of that, there's some people claiming that there's as many as 300,000 Chinese.
Let me tell you what I thought yesterday. This is what I was thinking to myself yesterday. sometime here in the next couple of weeks, I want to take my sons and my brother and take them out and show them we're going to go shooting. We're going to go fire some rifles and some handguns, and we're going to go shooting and show them, just because we haven't went in a while. It's been a while. And my son that has shot has taken his hunter safety course. He has his hunter safety card. He's went through all that. There's a proper procedure to go through that. And we country people follow that procedure mostly. Okay. There's a proper way to handle guns, and most country people follow that way. Okay. So that's what I thought. I'm like, man, he's been talking about wanting to join karate up the street. And I'm like, yeah. What do I need to do? Work a couple of extra hours to get him into karate? Absolutely. There's got to be. My daughters know. I've had my talk with my daughters, because I've got 11, 13, and 18, and they all know to not be oblivious when they are out in public or in the store or something, to always keep an eye on certain things and certain people and what they do. They know. I've talked to them about that. So
you cannot be going around the world like this and be safe.
Nope. Yep.
You cannot be doing that.
And even without this phone, Ashley jokes all the time. She's like, you're oblivious to the world, except you're just your little bubble. And I'm like, yeah, sometimes I do. And that's just how I am. She'll be like, did you notice that blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, no, I'm not paying attention to that crap. So we have to teach our children a little better. We didn't have to do that crap. Our children, unfortunately, do. And our sons are going to have to, I don't know. I don't want my sons to not know what to do if an emergent situation happens.
Right now would be a great time for, karate would be good. Firearms training would be good. Taking some classes on basic medical first aid in case you find yourself in a situation where you or a friend have been shot, God forbid, or maybe stabbed, something like that. And you need to be able to close a wound quickly while you wait for assistance. I
never thought you'd be saying that in America, but if you think about it, America has not had a war on our land since the 1860s and 70s.
I'm increasingly convinced that over the next year and a half, we're going to have some violent disruptions. And now I believe that Americans will eventually be like, oh, hold up, and they will make quick adjustments, but they're going to be asleep until the first
that's the
disruption happens.
That's the funny thing I think about Americans, is that we can hate each other up until the last minute, and then we're going to reach down and pick you up and help you. And if something happens if we're fighting, if me and you are fighting, and then some outside source comes in to get both of us, well, then me and you are going to be both friends now and kick that outside source.
That's why it's important also, going back to the like illegal immigration stuff. That's why it's so important that people that enter this country become assimilated, that they adopt our history, adopt our values, and adopt the primary identity of being American, and then your heritage and all of that stuff. Yeah, okay, also, but by sharing some common stories, some common lore, and some common values, you will value your neighbors more than people over there. And valuing your neighbors is how your neighbors keep you alive. And when shit hits the fan, you're not going to be able to put on a go bag and go hide in a tent and be safe. You need your family. You need your neighbors
neighbors.
You need your neighbors.
The people anymore, you don't introduce yourself to your neighbors. You just kind of know that's the lady that lives over there, but you don't know her name. You've never talked to her. And we're all just too afraid to do that anymore. We've got a house across the street that's being redone, and the woman comes every once in a while, but it's mainly the workers and stuff that are over there redoing this house. And the FedEx guy keeps leaving our packages on that front porch, so we have to go across the road to get it. And so I told Ashley the other day, I was like, as soon as I see that woman there, as soon as she moves in, I'm going to go introduce ourselves, and because I always do that. I'm like, hey, I'm Andy, we're the neighbors, we'll keep an eye on your place when people aren't there, and let you know. It's just a neighborly thing to freaking do.
Yeah.
I knew my neighbors as kids. They watched after us. My neighbor Lloyd, I think he's whooped my ass before a couple of times when I was a kid. I'm serious.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to encourage people to, like, if you don't know your neighbors, there's not going to be a better time than right now to just go meet your neighbors and say, hey, look, I don't know whatever else. I don't know what you believe in, but we're neighbors. We both live here. And,
We both live here.
start
We
a
have to
dialogue.
watch each other's back.
Yeah. Because you don't want to wait until the emergencies happen before you start thinking, hey, maybe I should know that people live next door to me. Okay.
I got one.
yeah.
If we have any more politics, I'm done.
They got one more. We had this one more incident here. I wanted to cover this. This broke yesterday. I think it got resolved though. There was a person claiming to have a bomb that climbed onto a Ferris wheel at Santa Monica's at California's Santa Monica Pier. Yeah, he's right there. Yeah, he climbed up there. Now, at first I was like, why don't you guys just turn that thing on? just roll that thing. He ain't gonna stay up there. But
of course, that's your first thought.
But if you notice, there are some people in some of these cars on the left-hand side. So the bottom yellow car here, there's it looks like there's a person in this red car, this yellow car. I don't know about over there. So there was some people in some of these cars. So you know,
you don't want them to get messy. They
right,
probably did
yeah.
bring a change of clothes.
So, but I was thinking, like, why don't you just roll it over and let him just fall? So here is a shot from one of the person in the cars, and there's the guy. So kind of fat, got a bag, maybe he had a bomb, I don't know. And then later you can see police took the man into custody. So the situation looks to have been resolved without any boom booms. So
and this children is why your two dads, JJ and Deacon here, Crash Override Zero Cool, tell you to think things through. Don't just act on impulses.
Right.
You need to think things through. Be the devil's advocate sometimes, okay? That's okay to do.
Yeah. Jeez.
All right, I got one here that may have some repercussions. I actually have a couple of stories here that may have some repercussions. They are little bitty drops in the water that may create some big waves.
All right.
If we're lucky. So first is in the enchanted loony land of California, way off to the west. We have the loony land of California. Gavin Newsom, you know that guy?
Oh, yeah.
You heard of him? He has banned 4 food additives, all right? And it's pissing people off. So he's actually said, hey, man, these chemicals have already been banned in the European Union. They can't even sell them. This brominated vegetable oil, potassium bromate, paraben, and red dye number 3.
Okay.
Already banned. They have been linked to cancer, reproductive issues, and other health problems. So they passed legislation, the AB 418, a huge step in our effort to protect children and families in California from dangerous toxic chemicals in our food supply. But guess who's mad?
Who's mad?
The food manufacturers are mad, and people are mad because they're saying no, and they're saying all this stuff. This is
what people are mad about this, though. I mean, my first thought is like, does he have the right to do this? I guess the legislature can.
Let me show you what people are mad about doing this.
Oh,
look.
Peeps.
Wait a minute. Look.
Oh.
Look.
Oh, yoo-hoo. These things are gross. You guys should not be eating this stuff anyway.
Most cereals, every cereal on the shelf. All right.
You know, Gavin, I'm going to say he didn't go far enough. Should have banned sugar.
Yeah, well, you're right, but that's not going to. Everyone's addicted to sugar. They're hoping that they won't just make one food for California and the rest of the food for everybody else. They will go ahead and change it for everybody. But you've got these big companies with millions and millions and billions of dollars, and they go up to the congressman and say, hey, I'll donate to your thing if you don't vote this way. And this is what's going to happen is exactly they own the FDA. They own all this crap. So good try, Gavin Newsom. One that I actually think might get a little more play than that one right there is up in the enchanted north of Canada. They have, let me stop this video. They have agreed to, with Walmart and Costco, to aggressively cut prices. Because the Canadians have been super mad, eh? They can't feed their moose up there, so they're mad.
Well, what in the world is causing prices to go up?
I don't know, JJ. What do you think?
price of oil. Maybe it's I don't know. There's probably some significant factors that go into that, but mostly it's probably the cost of fuel. Kind of think that's
maybe
most of it.
you think getting
Yeah,
all that
you gotta
stuff up there and
transport
getting
that
pissed
shit
off
up
at
there.
truckers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to get both grocery chains to get concrete actions to keep the prices down, and they've passed these legislative amendments up in Canada. They're trying to do something.
Look, if
similar
who is this,
in
Costco and these big major food
and
distributors?
Walmart.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
if it costs you $5 for a box of I don't know what, let's say, cereal or whatever, you can't sell it at $5. You got to sell it plus transportation costs, plus the cost for employees. You have to pack your own expenses into that, and then you got to have a little bit of profit, right? Well, I don't know how much. I don't know what they're paying for food, but you can't just pass a law that says, oh, you have to sell it cheaper. Otherwise, Costco's gonna be like, well, I guess we're just not gonna bring in broccoli. You guys can't afford it. So,
Lord, all right, I'm changing the subject.
Please.
This one's kind of sad, a little sad. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Mary Lou Retton. Good God, that's freaking
Mary Lou Retton.
Mary Lou Retton has pneumonia, this rare form of pneumonia, and they say her family says that she is fighting for her life right now. As 80s kids. JJ and I were 80s kids, and Mary Lou Retton was she was kind of a big deal in the 80s.
She became the darling of the United States for like decades.
She was a poster girl for everything. Everywhere you saw Mary Lou Retton with her arms in the air and whatnot. She would be on TV shows. She would make special appearances on TV shows where all of a sudden there's Mary Lou Retton and she does a flip and she does her little thing. So she's it was really sad to hear this, man, because she's 55,
which is really young.
Yeah. She's been in intensive care for more than a week, it said. So they've got a fundraising campaign, but she was just 16 years old back in 84 when she won the Olympics.
Wow.
So there you go. I'll be right back.
Olympic champion at 16. All right, guys. I don't think we got any more fun stories, and Deacon may have a guest coming in. We do have. I just don't want to talk a whole lot about Israel, Hamas, any of that, other than Hamas attacking Israel. Very, very bad. We have seen. I guess I need to say this. I've seen some people who, in other times, were very, very level-headed, and now are embracing like destroy Gaza, destroy Palestine, destroy Hamas, or whatever. And I'm like, whoa, that's not level-headed. That's genocide. My position is no war, no fucking war. Stop killing people. If those guys are coming over here and shooting them, then, shoot them back and tear stuff up. If they're putting military stuff in hospitals, that is fucked up. And I can understand why Israel is destroying shit and it looks real, real bad. But if your senator, if your congressman is like, oh, we got to support Israel, we got to send some bodies over there to fight. Fuck no. No, stay out of the fucking war. I don't want to be in war. I don't want to send people to war. No. Israel can handle that shit on their own. And the U.S. cannot afford to get dragged into it. So, I don't know. There's just so much happening right now. But, I mean, just be careful who you're listening to about everything right now. I guess that's all I have to say about that. I just had to cross that story off the list. I don't even want to cover it. You got any more fun stuff?
I have one more. I'm probably going to get to read one more before I need to.
Okay.
I have one more. This is a hidden story that I hide because I didn't want you to see it. Hang on, let me see how long
good.
I got. Hang on, let me move my song here. You'll like this one. I think you will. Okay, so the Japanese are always the most innovative, right? They are always coming up. We just had the story last week where they've got the Gundam, the big robot that they can get into, and it'll help with like exploration, archaeological disaster,
super monster wolves.
The Japanese have these giant robotic super monster wolves, and they have them set up in this town to guard against bears.
That's awesome. What in the
I
world?
know, right? It is a bear deterrence. It emits it has red LED eyes. It shakes its head from side to side while emitting a 90 decibel howl. But boars aren't the
That's
only
loud.
problem plaguing the Japanese communities. It's using it as a boar and bear deterrents.
I didn't even know there were bears in Japan. No idea.
There's bears in Japan. So isn't this awesome? You could have a
Uh,
robotic monster wolf scarecrow
I
in
think
your
that
garden. JJ.
I mean, honestly, that's a great idea. We're already working on robots. We're already working on AI. We've got drones and stuff like that. Let's make some robot wolves and give them AI, and don't just leave them stuck in one spot. Let's let them roam around.
And give them the ability to feed, like yeah, you're on.
Oh,
something.
eat? You want them to eat instead of putting batteries in there? You want them to eat, say, pigs or something? I don't know. What would a robot
Flesh.
wolf eat?
Flesh.
You have stories about AI robots consuming flesh to metabolize it for energy.
Yes, we
Wow.
sure do. All right, that's it. That's all the fun
That's all
stories.
you
I
got?
got one more, but I'll
I
save
wanna
it for tomorrow.
5:38.
I'm gonna have to go.
You're gonna have to leave.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I'm gonna start looking at polls for a 3-way split between Biden, RFK, and Trump, and see if we can get an indication of how that's going, of how that's going to. That when you mentioned that earlier, I think that's worth looking into. Robot wolves. Robot wolves are dope.
When are we
pretty
doing
great.
our zombie movie?
Shit.
Because we were supposed to do it
I was
yesterday.
sick. I was a
Yes.
zombie yesterday.
Yeah, you were a zombie yesterday.
We're
We'll do it tomorrow.
gonna have
We'll
to.
just do our weekly zombie movie. It's not on a specific day this week.
Yeah.
So there you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah. That makes it a lot easier for us. Just once a week, we're doing movies.
Yes, just whatever.
It's
Yeah, whatever.
Once a
All
week.
right, there's a train coming. I gotta go.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the show. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow, and it'll be 50%
We'll give you two
less
jokes
gay.
tomorrow.
Oh,
we'll give you
yeah.
two-
We'll do 2 jokes.
Two jokes tomorrow. Yeah.
Lucky you.